Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here for checking out the series. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the interviews that we put out every single week, 3 a week, new and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can grab us anywhere you get your podcast from, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, NPR, WFPK.org. Consequence, or right here on YouTube for the video versions. Anywhere you get your podcast from, you can subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. That's me, Kyle Meredith, today talking with Thomas Lennon. You know Thomas from so many things. Of course, The State, MTV's The State. He is Dangle in Reno 911, Night at the Museum. He has a huge filmography that I cannot repeat all of it here, although that would also be fun. He's also in the recent movie called Chosen Family, written, directed, and starring Heather Graham with a great cast. The log line here: a yoga teacher who cannot escape her manic family, miserable dating life, and inability to say no, leaving her constantly trying to fix everyone else's problems. But can she finally put herself first when new love walks into her life? Thomas plays a restaurant owner, and Heather's character is one of her best friend group. In this, we get to talk about acting with Heather. This is the second Heather Graham movie that he's been in, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his career as a writer as well, and sort of taking your career into your own hands, not always trusting that you're going to get plucked out and given a role at any point. We're also going to talk a lot about music, some of the stuff behind me, and Oasis and the Smiths for fun. So let's get into it as we discuss Chosen Family, out everywhere, October 11th. It's Kyle Meredith with Thomas Lennon.
Kyle, these are great, great, great records on the wall.
Thank you.
Great records.
Well, pictures of records, but yeah. You gonna do lightning round? Favorite Prince song?
Never Take the Place of Your Man.
Ooh, favorite Bowie?
Life on Mars.
Ooh, nice. Okay, last one. Favorite R.E.M.
Don't Go Back to Rockville. Now let's do second favorite. Let's just keep going.
Hey, we're okay that the Smiths aren't reuniting, right? So I know you have no opinion on Oasis.
Let's talk about it in depth and on and on and on and on. Oh, Kyle, I can feel. So, Kyle,
I feel like that's a different interview for another time.
Well, okay, we'll do that. Let's do that at the very end. We'll do first. We'll promote the wonderful Chosen Family everywhere you could see a movie in the world, October 11th.
Anywhere you could. So we see you as restaurateur. Is that a restaurateur? Sure. Is that the correct?
Sure. Kyle, in movies, I'm usually playing me. Really, right? Like nobody casts me to be like a regular person, right?
Maybe
there's regular people you could use for that who are terrific.
Yeah, but you are you're a very nice guy in this. Very nice
Sure.
Well, let me say this: if it's you, can you cook?
Oh God, no. But I'll make you the best grilled cheese you ever had in your life. It'll just be made out of stuff that's gross.
Starts out like
gross. I mean, it's just going to be Velveeta on Wonder Bread, but it's going to be magnificent.
Velveeta on Wonder Bread. How?
I'll use an entire stick of Irish butter. That's why for one grilled cheese.
For one.
Yeah.
I am no lactose intolerant.
Yeah, no doctor would say eat a grilled cheese that I make you because it's not fatal, but it's super bad. It's super bad for you.
And that's where the acting comes in. See, you are an actor. You've played a restaurateur so believably in Chosen Family.
Kyle, am I an actor? Of course I am. Of course I am. I've done those. I've acted in things, right?
You haven't? I've seen it.
Or do I just kind of show up and be amusing?
This is your second. It's your second time with Heather. I can say that though. You guys have done it. This is where you say nice things about Heather Graham. Like, what brings you back to working with her again here?
Here's the thing. So the first time I was in a Heather Graham picture, it's a picture called Half Magic. Have you seen it, Kyle?
I have not seen it, but I should, shouldn't I?
It's absolutely great. It's absolutely great, and it was one of the most fun times I'd had on a movie. It was my first day on Heather's first film, her first sort of major film, was me and Angela Kinsey had like a sort of a love, like an awful love scene that doesn't go well for anybody involved. And it's such a funny place to be in. And we're sort of improvising this awful love scene. And at the end of it, I said to Angela Kinsey, and this there was nowhere in the script, but Heather's just very conducive to like funny scenes happening. I said to Angela Kinsey, we'd just been like groaning and I'm screaming, making awful noises on top of her. And then I say, I'm so sorry you didn't come. And she says, I'm so sorry you didn't. And
That's a
it
good
was
line.
one of the funniest scenes I've ever been in. And it was just like because Heather creates these environments where where funny things can happen. And it could just like, she just has funny people around and like this one is like, the sort of continuing story of this Heather Graham character that doesn't always pick the right guys and things like that. I think some of that must be based on her old life experience, although uh, she also has cool boyfriends sometimes, including now sometimes. So like it's just sort of fun to be. She just creates a very fun environment. These are fun movies to be in, which is like it's also to me it's like doing movies like this. I was talking a little bit about in an era where movies are so big.
Mhm.
Um, like I'm definitely writing, I'm writing the animated version of my novels right now for DreamWorks. And if you're writing an animated film for one of the big movie studios, the mark under $500 million and you're basically a pretty big flop. Under half a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now to make that relative, is that like in the 90s when you had, the number one selling album was 1 million or 2 million albums that week, and a
Mhm.
flop would have been 500,000 or something
Uh-huh.
like that,
Yeah.
right? Like you
Yeah,
could still have an entire career out of that, but they said we got to drop you from the label.
for sure. So it's like, it's just an interesting time where I guess what I'm getting at is like, I love that there's a place in the world for a movie like Chosen Family, which is like, a movie where we lived at the airport hotel.
Mhm.
And I think I'm wearing my own clothes like half of the time. No, it's like it's a very grassroots kind of lo-fi. But then it looks like a great big romantic comedy. I
Sure.
think because just like sometimes you're in Providence and like a drone flies over you and you're like, oh, nice. But really, it's like people in their own clothes, you know, who are in a van
Yeah.
having a jukebox making a movie like this, which is that's kind of I like it. I like a slightly
It's kind of a beautiful spot that I think the industry's in. I've talked about this with some people, how there are these little, to talk about the 90s again, these, because that was such an indie movie explosion moment, and it's for different reasons this time around, but that when when the role isn't there from your agent at this moment doesn't mean that you can't work. I mean, how, Heather takes her career in her own hands. I'm going to write, direct, and star in the thing that I want to make.
it's
Like, how
amazing.
often does that happen for you that like you believe in something so much and you just can't get it picked up and you're like, the hell with it, I'm doing this myself.
It has happened on occasion. I mean, for the most part, most of the things that I've done. I mean, obviously, I sometimes write big studio movies when those are in vogue, and sometimes they still are. But the newest movie of Lennon Grant, which is where the Night at the Museum guys and stuff is a tiny horror movie about the Ursuline convent that's about goes into production like right now. But generally, that is the secret to the things that I like to do, and like going back to the state, and is the idea of like waiting for permission from somebody is not something I'm real big on, like because it's not coming and you don't need it. Um, the way to anything is not like to wait and see, like, hey, does somebody think this is an awesome idea, and are they gonna like pat me on the back and like somehow get me to do it, you know? And the answer is no, fuck no. No one's ever gonna know. Of course not.
No
No
one's
one's
coming
gonna
to
tell
save
you
you.
no one's gonna say when to go. No one's gonna say anything. Just you have to start doing it,
Yeah.
you know? Which is why, I love being in like a movie like this. I love being right now. I'm in like a strange horror movie that's maybe no one will ever see, but it's like to
Casca
me,
Girls?
not Casket Girls. That's one we wrote, but that one I think is that one I think people might see. I'm in an even smaller movie than that right now. But this is the joy. It's like it's nice. You gotta like being in this, Like I love hang on, sorry, there's one surprise guest who just wanted to
Ah,
make appearance.
internet star.
She's definitely sad about the Smiths too.
Well, I know we're about out of time here, so pro or con, Smith should or should not ever reunite.
Well, we've lost Andy, so it doesn't, technically it doesn't matter, anymore.
True.
There is no Smiths in really. Um and I saw Johnny last week at the Orpheum in LA and he was amazing. And he plays the songs beautifully, he sings the songs beautifully. Um I I do think, and I understand his point of view, I think,
Some
I
people you
do.
just can't be around anymore in your life, and that's okay.
I mean, this is look at, not everybody's going to make that Oasis decision of like, hey, let's walk it off for
Mhm.
the team, Are you excited about Oasis?
I am excited about Oasis. I love the Smiths. I can go the rest of my life without them ever being in the same room for all the reasons you just said too. For Andy, because I love Johnny. He's on the show a
Yeah,
lot, and I'll
Johnny's
take it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I mean, if you look at, I'm friends with Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. The Sex Pistols, not as the Sex Pistols, because of course there's no John Lydon in the front of it, but I've just had a very successful tour
Yeah.
as everybody else from the record, which is pretty interesting.
Pretty nice. Yeah.
Um, I could talk about these things all day.
Well,
Yeah, what I don't want to see is I don't need to see the Gallaghers getting along.
you're just
Like
gonna
there's
sing
no
the songs.
like what's the universe? What's the point of that? It's like if I'm going to see the Brian Jonestown Massacre, I don't it's not for it to work out great, you know?
We're here for the
I don't
drink.
need for it to work out great.
Thomas, it has been a pleasure talking
Always
with
a
you.
pleasure, Kyle.
Congrats on Chosen Family and all the stuff you got
Buddy.
going on.
October 11th, everywhere you can look at a thing.
Right on. Take care, man. We'll see you around.
See you soon.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.